we're talking to just yet because this is the first time we've all really gotten together. So I can't say welcome back, ladies, gents, entrepreneurs, uncoachables, whoever you might be out there. But welcome, guys. This is a very special moment. This is the first episode of Uncoachable. This is an idea that's come to fruition most recently through a couple of entrepreneurs, millipreneurs here in the house. We have quite the set. So I'd just like to go around and introduce ourselves. We got the founders of Innova Media right here, Burke and Thomas Burke. Burke and Thomas Burke actually, and that just hit me. So then we have Mr. Josh Greenwald here, founder and president of High Point Lead Generation as well,
Yes,
serial entrepreneur as well. My name's Rich Jekyll. I am a millennial entrepreneur as well. I currently work in the financial field as an advisor. And we've all come together today just through the power of networking. And I think the old adage goes, birds of a feather flock together. I know it sounds cliche, but I think we have a lot of similarity in mindset here. And we just actually spent about 2 hours brainstorming. We were like, hey, let's just hit record because we're losing too much good content. And really, we want to get together and start something special. You know, we're tired of seeing the motivational memes and videos online. Success comes in many ways, different shapes and forms, and a lot of times we only see success once it's really happened. I just recently, I know I was just bashing these memes, but so a really good one from Lionel Messi, world-known soccer player. He says it took me 17 years and 274 days for overnight success. That's a very powerful statement, and I think a lot of us today in our society, through social media avenues, we see these visuals, and at times we might feel like failures because we haven't reached this level of success. However success is defined, it's intrinsic. We all have one life to live, and we want to be as successful as possible. Whether that's through respect, through money, through other honorable recognitions, whatever it might be. But the path to success is uniquely defined, and really, what we want to do collectively here is share our story and share our past to where we've, how we've even gotten to the room today. And then just hopefully if we can teach, if we can inspire, if we can cultivate ideas, let you know that, hey, we haven't made it yet, but we're on our way there. And that being said, let's share the journey as we get there, as opposed to taking photos in a private jet and saying, hey, here are my fun coupons. So anyways, I just want to actually welcome Josh Greenwald here from High Point Lead Generation. It's a new venture that he just started not too long ago. Josh is a serial entrepreneur, originally from Ohio, joined the Charlotte area here not too long ago with his beautiful wife, Paige, recently married as well. Josh's got a very unique story. We have a lot of different walks of life here. Thomas and Burke are currently students at UNC Charlotte. I'm a graduate of Assumption College in Worcester, Mass. And Josh actually didn't go to college.
Anti-college over here.
He's anti-college, and that's perfectly okay. And we were thinking, let's start recording. What are we going to call this, guys? And, I made a comment to Josh of, having mentorship in my life and failed mentorship opportunities. And it's because I was told I was uncoachable. Well, I wasn't really uncoachable. It just takes, I think the right mindset to work with people. And he goes, I was kind of thinking the same thing now that you said that. I said, yeah. So let's call this Uncoachable. So, Josh, come on, let's take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, and I'm going to ask you the $1 million question. Who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
I'm Josh. No, thank you guys for having me here. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to be able to come out and give value back to the community. And without a vehicle, I mean, you really don't. Everyone has social media, but this is something that can hold me accountable and hold our viewers accountable whenever we finally do get a bunch of viewers, to take action and take consistent action over the course of time to get the results that they're looking for. So who am I, man? I'm a normal guy. I mean, I started out in a farm in Ohio. Didn't have a lot of money growing up, but was surrounded by a bunch of love. I was kind of in the middle class area, but on a farm, so it was hard work. It was hard work to get the money, and I always grew up and I said, you know what? There's got to be a smarter way. If you work just as hard but a little bit smarter, you can really manifest a lot of stuff in your life. We were just talking about that a couple seconds ago, but I went off to college, went to school for mechanical engineering, dropped out after a semester and a half. It just wasn't for me. Just wasn't very book smart. Fell into sales. Sold timeshares for 6 years. Worked my way up through a corporate ladder.
How old are you now, Josh, for the record?
25.
25.
25. I was a regional director of sales and walked away from it all in February. Found Freedom Boat Club. Started working for Freedom Boat Club. Started my own company. Brought them on as a client. And here we are. I just want to give back a little bit. And thank you guys for having me. I love seeing the young entrepreneurs in here. I mean, you guys are awesome. Starting this company, having all this equipment at what, 19?
I'm 20.
20?
21.
20 and 21. Where's the beer, man?
Right
Let's roll. Let's go.
Water.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry. But yeah, so it's cool. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Thanks, man.
Josh and I met several months ago just through networking, Cold Hard networking on the ground. Just our paths crossed, and we kind of kept in touch. We really hit it off from a conversational standpoint. We're actually enjoying a couple beers on the boat.
Yeah,
up
we
in Lake
did.
Norman.
We did.
After hours, but nobody's. Well, you know now, but anyways. And then Burke and Thomas, I had the pleasure of getting to cross paths with you guys about this time last year here in Charlotte as well. Talk about yourselves real quick. Tell us about Innova Media. Who are you guys? What inspired you? And take it away.
Okay. So I guess I'll go through my journey of it, and then you'll connect.
Cool.
So we both go to UNC Charlotte, and we were in the same dorm freshman year. So we were in a learning community for business. We were all in the same group and did all these activities together. And then it was me, Thomas, and Chris, who is leaving for film school now. But we just realized the skills that we had together, and I had kind of started on my own looking into drone photography for real estate. And I knew Chris was really good with video and stuff, so I talked to him and helping me do some stuff, and then just ended up we came together one night and we literally put a plan together for a business that night, and it started from there.
Yeah.
And that
That's
was
sick.
it was about a year ago.
A little less than a year ago, yeah.
It's cool.
So
It was funny because the hardest part was the name. I mean, we created the business within like one night, and it took us like a week to find out what name what we wanted to name it. But it was kind of cool because it was just like Burke and Chris, and they kind of combined together, and I was Chris's roommate, and I was just in the room while they were talking about it, and I had built a website for my church. And they were talking about all this stuff, and I was like, hey guys, like if you guys need my help, like I can build you guys a website. So I did that, and I've done some video stuff before, so they just like brought me onto the team, and so we all three just started it. It was really cool.
So let me ask you guys a question real quick.
Yeah.
What is the process from going from a dorm room to a legit LLC, I'm assuming, right? Or
Yeah.
S corp or whatever.
Yeah,
A legit
LLC.
business. What is that process? Because when I was in college, I was focused on way different things than building a business, and I wish I was
Right.
focused on building a business, honestly.
Right.
A legit business. So what's that process like?
So I think we just kind of started out messing around. We called ourselves a company, and we started doing a few small
The
gigs.
company?
A company.
Oh,
Just
a
like
company.
Not like not
Oh, gotcha.
like
Just a
official.
company.
but
Yeah, we
we
weren't
said
official yet.
Okay.
we're no
Filed,
media.
so-
So then when we met Rich, we said we owned our own company, but really we hadn't done anything
Okay, cool.
official yet.
Yeah.
So kind of fake it till you make it, sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
But we got it in the summer, so we didn't really know what we were doing. We applied for it, and then we met some of our friends at Heritage Law, and they said, "Let us help you out." They sent off our papers, and we got it back within like a week.
Nice.
So
And then at that point, you had an official company.
we were official, yeah,
Sweet.
over the summer. So
Cool. Because like I said, I was not focused on that whenever I but
Right.
and I don't think most people are.
no,
Most people are focused on doing the things that I was probably doing. Whenever I was 19
Right.
years old.
You could
But
listen.
you go to
Mhm.
class, you party, you play Fortnite.
you know what
Yeah.
Fortnite is.
I've never played Fortnite.
Honestly, I
actually.
do not know what Fortnite is.
I've never played Fortnite.
Wow.
I mean, I know what it is, but I've never touched it.
You've never,
I
right.
don't know
But I mean, at
how
least
it.
you
I don't even know
what
how it
is.
works. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Is it
It's really interesting, honestly, in terms of a business, because it was a free
Oh.
game.
now the business side of things? The business side of gaming, I can get behind.
We can talk
Cha-ching.
We can talk about that. Like I was saying, we can talk about that. But from a business standpoint, it's fantastic because they gave so much value.
It was
You know what I
genius. It's a free game.
They gave so much value to young kids
Mm-hmm.
for free. So the parents were behind it, the kids were behind it, and then eventually their advertisers were behind it.
And we're giving out a lot of free advertisement out here as well. But I'll put in a plug actually because I've never really gotten to Pokemon cards or any of that stuff. But Pokemon Go came out not too long ago, right? That was a huge hit. It was a free game,
A
right?
couple years ago, yeah.
So I just saw something really quickly on the Insta the other day of the same company. Dropped the top of my mind right now, but they're coming out with like a Harry Potter themed game. So I'm curious as to see how that's going to go. But it's interesting because I think the collective theme here is business. What is business? How do we conduct business? What's business development? We're all entrepreneurs here, growing our personal and professional lives, and that obviously takes money. I mean, it's the brutal honesty of it, right? You have to spend money to make money. All right. Well, how do you get that first dollar? What is it that inspires you and drives you? And clearly for you guys, you identified some of your strengths. You saw opportunity. You also, it's interesting because Josh, you're 25, right? 19, 20, 21.
Trying to cut you short.
I just turned 27.
I'm 20.
Happy birthday, man.
I'm 27, and we definitely have a spread on the age range here. But you two in particular, all you've known is social media and marketing and video space and that whole sphere. I mean, growing up, I still remember. I mean, iPhones didn't come out until I was a sophomore in high school, and that was
like 2008.
2008,
Yeah.
2009, something like that. I was working I went to a Catholic school, and I had nuns teaching us computers in DOS mode. We were just playing like games and little word puzzles, but they knew at the time it was the way of the future. So it's just interesting to see it all come together and how a few different years make a hell of a difference, right? But I guess the point I'm trying to get across here is that's really what you guys have grown up to know, and that's really what inspired you to start Anova Media, with the whole context in mind of how do we not only utilize the resources we have present with the needs of the client, but what is it going to be in the future, and how can we position ourselves today for that? And you guys are in a very early stage of development in your company as well. What are some of the things that you've learned? I hate putting numbers on things, but if you give me 3 things that you've learned from starting your business just about a year and a half ago, what would those be?
Honestly, I think I've learned more from starting a business than I have in college.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with that. I'd definitely say one thing that I've learned would be don't stretch yourself thin with all the things that you say you can do and everything. Try to focus on one thing and find your niche.
Sure.
Because I know at the start, we can do your weddings, we can shoot your house, we can do all this and that, and we can. But I mean, at the end of the day, where are you going to get your clients from? Where's your money going to come through if your shoots are that inconsistent and you're doing all these different kind of things? So finding your niche and finding kind of one area that you focus on is better than stretching yourself thin.
Right. I mean, if you don't know, then it's good to start broad like that,
exactly,
and then narrow it down. But also, taking rejection too.
It's hard, but it has to be done.
Not even just no's, but people you talk to, and then you just don't hear from them again. You don't know what went wrong, so you just have to keep moving, and just being able to take rejection in hand with the successes.
Sure.
So, and then the amount of time that you have to put in, you have to at least double it, what you think you're going to put in order to meet your goals.
And obviously, you have to think about that when you're pricing out projects and
Yeah.
Sourcing new clients and whatnot. So I'm going to bring it back to Josh real quick because Burke made a big statement here. He said, honestly, I've learned more about starting a business through that experience in itself than I have in college. And that's not to shy away from conventional education, but I think we have a common theme how we feel about that. But anyways, Josh, talk about that a little bit because you dropped out of college. You said, this isn't for me. I want to make money. All right. Yes, you just started your company with High Point Lead Generation, But tell us a little bit more about how you got there. Kind of fill in the gaps. I know you talk about Freedom Boat Club and whatnot, but tell us about the journey, what you learned along the way in terms of sales.
Oh man,
Josh loves
too
sales.
Much, too much. Now we're talking. I always make the joke that if you don't have a cash register at your desk, you're disposable. You know, and what that means is if you're not in sales, if you're not collecting money, either whether it be for your employer or for your own business, then you can be replaced. But if you're really good at collecting income, if you're really good at collecting money, then you're going to make more than, sometimes even more than the owner of the company, more than your boss, more than whoever, right? But just to get back to that, not to knock on, like you said, conventional education, because there's a place for that. My wife has her master's in forensic psychology. She's extremely smart. And she will, if the real estate market crashes, she can fall back on that and use that for a very respected job. So there is always a place for conventional education, but it just wasn't for me. I grew up, we would go to Sam's Club and buy the big packs of gum, right? And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
My
dad loves his Sam's Club.
The big packs of gum, right? Because
I know where you're going with this.
My stepbrother
You flipped that gum, didn't you?
My
I did it with Cheetos and Doritos, man.
My stepbrother is 6'6", 280 in high school.
Wow.
Big dude. Could have been in the NFL if he put his mind towards football. I'm sure of it. But he didn't want to play football. But anyway, so we would shop at Sam's Club because we had to feed this massive human being, right? So my mom would buy the big packs of gum. Long story short is I knew that school lunch was $1.75 or $2.75 or whatever the hell it was. So I know that all the kids came to school with two $1 bills, and that means when they got on the bus to come home, they all had a quarter in their pocket, right? So I would always chew gum. Hey, can I get a piece of gum? Yeah, I know you have a quarter, and I'd flip the gum, and I'd make some money.
Smart kid.
I fucking love it.
So it was awesome. So that's really when I learned the value of sales, and it's like, okay, work smarter, not harder. Use the resources that we have available, and multiply them, 10x them, right? Grant Cardone says 10x everything, 10x your life. So then I went to school, so on and so forth, dropped out, was doing some stuff probably shouldn't have been doing, fell into sales when I was 19 years old, made a good amount of money as a 19-year-old selling timeshares inside Bass Pro Shop. Talk about rejection, that's really dealing with rejection, getting your teeth kicked in on the daily. Was really good at it. I found a mentor in the space. I was eager to learn. You're never too young to start learning, to pick up a book and to read, and find somebody that's better than you at something and learn from them. If you're a smarter person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I know I didn't come up with that. So it's been said multiple times for a reason, But then I got promoted a few times, ended up leading about 70 people at one point. That all worked for me, but the journey is different. It's full of rejection, like you said, being able to deal with the rejection and on a daily basis, and know that some will, some won't. So what?
Next.
You have to move on. Next, and that is life. You know what I mean? And sales is such a viable skill set to have. When you're in a relationship, you're selling. You know what I mean? You're selling yourself on a first date. When you're in a job interview, you're selling yourself to an employer. When you're networking, you're selling your personality so people can come and you can attract them to you. You're always selling, and you're always closing. Always be closing.
Oh, ABC, always be closing.
So I don't know if that's what you were looking for, man, but that's just kind of my journey and how I got to where I am.
Sure.
And then I walked away from it all. February, I took risk. I moved 1, 2, 3, 4. I moved 4 times for the other company on a whim. Most of it was just, split second. I lived in Cary for 2 weeks. Literally just got unpacked in Cary. I moved from New York to Raleigh, and was there for 2 weeks, and I got a call and said, hey, do you want to go to Charlotte? And I said, no, I really don't. I just got unpacked. Seriously. And they said, well, it would be about $40,000 a year more than what you're making right now. I said, let me call an Uber or whatever, because I'll be there next week. So it's a funny story behind that, and then we'll get back to whatever we were talking about. But my wife, my girlfriend at the time, she moved from DC to Cary with me, right, for the summer because she was going to grad school in DC. So she flew back home to New York from Raleigh with all of her stuff in Raleigh, flew back home to New York. While she was gone, I got the call. I packed everything up, and she flew back to Charlotte.
Oh, man.
Because I had already locked down an apartment in Charlotte.
Wow.
So hats off to my wife. I mean, spectacular woman.
That's a jump too.
I mean, she had to stick with it. You know what I mean?
That's huge.
Yeah.
So you said
I
something
rock,
in
man.
there that stood out to me, and prior to hitting the record button, we were going through some dialogue, and in that you mentioned opportunity, or in the dialogue predecessing the recording, we talked about opportunity, and right there, indirectly you talked about opportunity. So I want to raise a question to you guys: is opportunity something that presents itself, or do you put yourself in a position to create that opportunity?
I think if you're putting yourself in a position, then there's going to be a lot more. Sometimes you get lucky. If you're not doing anything, you might get lucky. You get an opportunity. But if you're putting yourself out there, then you're going to get more opportunities and better opportunities.
So had you not moved to Raleigh, you think that opportunity would have presented itself at that point in time? If you were still in New York, would you still have gotten that deal here in Charlotte?
No, it couldn't have. It couldn't have. So, what you say is, you're putting yourself in the position to be presented opportunities, that we said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in luck. And, no knock to everyone who thinks about luck and believes in luck. I believe in having a skill set and being able to put yourself out there, but taking the risk is a big thing. I mean, at 21, moving 9 hours away from anybody I knew to a totally new town in upstate New York takes a lot of risk, but I put myself in the situation to be presented the opportunity and I excel. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're looking
There's
for?
There's no right or wrong answer. I
want to make sure I answer the question. Because it's kind of a loaded question.
It is.
Because opportunities are out there. Their opportunities are everywhere. I've missed opportunities. You've missed opportunities. You guys have missed opportunities. There's an opportunity in this building. One of these apartment buildings could be flipped. That's an opportunity. But having the cojones to go out there and go, you know what I mean? $1 million in debt to buy up an apartment building, and then another $1 million to renovate the apartment building, to go $2 million in debt to turn around and flip it for $4 million. That's where the opportunities are there. You just have to go get them.
Right, and you mentioned the cojones to do that. So guys, we're filming actually from my condo here in Charlotte. We just couldn't find a good space, and I was like, you know what, guys, I've got a living room now. It's come together. I've done a job flipping here as well. It's been a hell of a process and a learning experience as well. And I've always wanted to get into real estate, add that into my investment portfolio for that. But the opportunity opened up. I saw the unit go on market. It's exactly what I was looking for in the right location for the right price. I knew there was some spread on there in terms of what I could capture in terms of appreciation and whatnot. Obviously, nothing's ever guaranteed, but all the variables are in place. So, anyways, I'm very, I'm happy to be here. But it's just, we're just, your regular guys, group of guys here. We're not, I actually wear a suit during the day. You don't. I don't like wearing a suit, but in the environment that I'm in, I'm expected to.
Yeah.
But it's funny because when I was selling home and auto insurance, I would always try to network with mortgage lenders, and there was a guy here in Charlotte who was calling in. He was doing a lot of refis, and he had called in 3 times that day, and I was like, "What the hell? This guy keeps calling back. I already sent over the document, but it wasn't for the same client. It was an insurance copy for another refi he was doing that just so happened to be under our realm of business. It was a mutual client. That's my point. So by the 3rd time he called back, I was like, hey, who are you? What do you do? Let's get coffee. So, I scheduled some time. I drove down to Charlotte from Huntersville at the time, or Cornelius at the time. And I walk in there and, I did a little bit of, you can find everything on the internet these days. So I did a little bit of research on it. Nothing too crazy, just some LinkedIn, some Google and all that shit. Social research. That's a plug for you, Dan Murphy. I know you'll be listening to this soon. But you guys actually met Dan, college roommate. Talk about networking, right?
Yeah.
Squirrel moment. I introduced these guys to a good friend of mine, Dan, up in Worcester. He's actually in Boston. He's doing great things. Keep it up, man. I'm real proud of you. And back to my original point, I drove down to Charlotte, met with the guy, and I'm expecting to be, I made sure to wear my best shoes that day, my best suit, made sure my hair was on point. This guy shows up, he's got a blazer on, he's got an untucked shirt, some sweatpants, and some flip flops.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, you know what? I dig that. And it kind of brings me back because we've all seen The Social Network with Mark Zuckerberg and all that. He always wore flip flops and all that. So it's just neat, because you kind of get to the point where you're just so confident in what you do because you're successful that to hell what everybody else cares. But my point overall with this is, we're just a group of guys here. We're entrepreneurs, and the way the world of fate works, we've all landed together here today. So just want to be real and keep it raw with you all that, hey, we haven't really made it in terms of what we have outlined for ourselves as a vision in life, but we're on our way there. And we really want to bring you guys as viewers along the journey. And we're going to incubate and start here in Charlotte, but I think we all share a very similar mindset with many of you out there. And if you're in the struggle right now, if you feel like you keep failing, well, fail forward. It's a common adage. Just keep moving forward. And we really want to help businesses grow and develop and just create a culture and an incubator where, hey, let's just have transparent conversation. Like you guys mentioned, you didn't really know how to start a business until you started the business, right?
Right.
And a lot of times people, me too, I'm over analytic when it comes to certain aspects of life, and I'm very passive when it comes to others. It's like black and white. I guess my point is that don't think you have to have it all figured out before you start, because you think you'll have it figured out. You'll never get there.
Exactly.
But I think this is a great pilot episode for us, guys. Is there anything you wanted to wrap up with? Anything top of mind?
Just thanks for watching this far. If you've made it this far.
Yeah.
And then leave us comments of stuff you want to hear about too in business. That's what we want to talk about, not just motivational. So actually talking about issues in our journeys and stuff.
We're leaving politics and religion out of it, so don't even go there.
Right.
Josh?
No. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been awesome, and I hope to continue with it as much as possible. And I really don't like sharing my story that much because I haven't made it. I'm not there yet in terms of what I define success as. So I'm always looking to grow, and I'm always looking to network. So I appreciate meeting the two of you guys and linking up with you to do this. It's fantastic. I can't wait to do it again. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or shoot me an email or whatever, and we can go from there.
Definitely.
Cool. I don't have anything to add.
Hey, you added your presence, and that in itself was a present.
Good stuff, man.
All right, guys. Well, hey, first episode of Uncoachable coming to you here from Charlotte, North Carolina. Stay tuned. We've got some great things to come, guys. This is going to be a journey for all of us. Keep it real.
Later.